The FA Cup. Last year, the Cambridge Dons got us. This year, the Oxford Dons. I guess that's why they say, Don, 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 Don.
Do they say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Oxbridge. Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
I was expecting a better reception to that joke.
Yeah, I don't know what that what's the reference?
You know, like when something's gone wrong. Don, 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 don.
Oh, okay. Yeah, get it now.
I was really pleased with that one, so never mind, whatever, everyone. How are you, listeners? We're awful. 4-1 Exeter City away to Oxford United in the Cup. And it was a bad do all round.
Yeah. It's worse, isn't it, than that, because the draw's now been made and they've got Arsenal at home.
Ugh.
So I don't know, it's not exactly how it works.
It's basically how it works.
Yeah, but is it?
Don't know who can say how
butterfly effects and all that.
Who can say how time can be affected?
But yeah, sort of how it works, I suppose. That's,
well, it's certainly galling.
You can't even possibly get Arsenal away in the FA Cup if you're not in the hat.
No, bowl.
Yeah, but they call it a hat.
They do call it a hat.
Oh, you're in the hat. But then they use a big bowl. So can you use a big clear hat?
A see-through hat?
Doesn't even need to be see-through. Why does it need to be see-through?
To show that Jimmy Bullard's not up to hijinks.
What hijinks could you do with a non-clear bowl / hat?
Good question. I suppose if there was any suggestion of, like, you know, little markings on the balls and Jimmy...
whatever. No one's doing it. Why would he bother?
I don't know.
Why would he care?
Gambling's rife in football. That's all I'm saying.
Fine. All right, yeah.
Anyway.
I find it annoying because when you're watching the ball, the hand go in the thing, I don't want to see which one he's picked up. I want it to be revealed to me.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. You could close your eyes at that moment.
Well,
you could listen on the radio.
Yeah, just get rid of it.
Get rid of your clear bowl.
That's not happening. Oxford will be playing Arsenal at home. We will not do anything that day.
No, nothing, because flipping Barnsley that was supposed to be on that day, they got through as well.
Yeah, so we have got this week off, right? Or
Cheers.
It's moved to the midweek or
yeah,
time.
But that's Saturday, nothing.
Yeah.
So cheers, everyone.
Yeah.
I felt really cross with them.
Yeah, well, so did I, because we played shit.
Yeah, rubbish, wasn't it?
So...
I mean, I wasn't there. I mean, I feel worse for the 400 people who went.
Well, yeah, I just listened to it on the radio, but, like, yeah. So... We've put Josh Key up front for this one.
Yeah.
Gary Caldwell's gone for that.
Stano's on the bench.
Because, yeah, said it to give Stano a rest, and because Diabate's fit to start.
Yeah.
However, looked a bit rusty, old Czech, because I'm not sure what minute it is, but the first goal, it gets played back to him, and he misses it, and the ball slips under his foot, and then they score. Yeah. A player called Matty Taylor.
Yeah, that guy again.
Is it the same one or is it another one?
This is the player we've known about.
Right. At this point, I just really think that if your surname is Taylor, don't call your son Matthew. Just stop it.
I mean, we're going to take 20 years for this.
It doesn't need to be anymore.
No more.
There's too many people called that. It's a boring name anyway. If your surname's Taylor...
Sorry, Matt.
Just call... It's fine, but it's not as like, oh, no, he must be called Matthew. It's the most... Just call it... And if you're into those, like, Bible names, just call it any of the others.
Would you go for Tinker?
Is that in the Bible?
I wouldn't think so. Tinker Taylor.
Yeah, that could be his nickname. You know, if he goes down that career path. What is a tinker? Just selling little bits of crap?
Yeah, I don't actually know. I think it was kind of cover-all name for, like, man who didn't have a house, but...
No, it's the Tinker Man, and he comes round and...
You're thinking of the Weller Man, that awful song from last year.
No, the Tinker Man.
No, that's Claudio Ranieri, tinkering.
Look, you don't know this.
No, I don't know. I'm talking
like a person who makes a living by travelling from place to place, mending pans and other metal utensils. There you go. That's what a Tinker Man is.
Okay. The irony is we could have done with someone mending the hole in our defence.
And the other irony being that Gary Caldwell is also tinkering with the team.
He is.
So there's just tinkering everywhere.
Yeah. Except in the useful places.
You could have worked that into that intro. Can you sing about Tinker, Caldwell tinkers, Taylor spies an opportunity to score.
I really liked my dun 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 dun
Right,
dun.
okay. We'll let the listeners be the judge of that.
Yeah, fine. Honestly, listeners, if you liked my Oxford Don, Cambridge Don joke, we'll get a scarf made up. If you liked it.
Yeah.
Actually, no, we won't do that. Don't want to
Scarf
two
website.
others.
Don't worry. No orders coming anytime soon.
Anyway, I've made a pig's ear it is, but not as much as City's defence made of Saturday.
Yeah, so Czech, I mean, it's a mistake, isn't it? And he hasn't played much. I mean,
I
and
also-
that can happen. That's the worst. That's the least bad goal of the day.
Yeah, it is.
Apart from the fact that I think that more of a problem generally, possibly, is a bit of a mentality thing, and I worry that's my main concern of his, because I feel like Colbo's come in and he's like, these can be teething problems. I mean, one, it's an inherited issue anyway.
Yeah.
We were already conceding goals and sloppy defending at the back before he arrived.
Yeah.
And he's allowed, he's got to try and work out what he wants to do with the team. That's fine, like it'll take a little while to get settled in and stuff. But in the meantime, you don't want that to take too long, because it did feel like as soon as that first goal went in, and I felt it, so I wonder whether they did too, that this is just not going well. We haven't. Something's missing here. We've sort of lost a bit of something. We need to pick me up.
Yeah.
We need to get back in the zone.
Yeah.
And that's not the way to do it, by losing 4-1 away to Oxford in the FA Cup.
No, you're absolutely right.
The other goals were all just a mess of.
It was messy,
of,
poor defending.
Bad,
I also think
bad clearing.
Bad clearing.
Boot it. That would be my. If I was Gary, that would be my, mantra for the week. Like, I think a lot of the time that stuff gets muddled up with playing out from the back. And while that's obviously a great thing to do, and you see players at the World Cup and stuff like this being able to kind of like react and kind of launch these counter-attacks by kind of instinctively passing it out to a teammate. We're in League One and we're shipping goals like nothing else. Boot it.
Well, yeah. I mean, absolutely. The irony of the whole thing is Colwell's this defender, Matt Taylor was this defender. We always thought we had these kind of raft of good centre-backs that, and George Ray went, and I know he wasn't brilliant.
Ray was hopeless, if you ask me.
We weren't hopeless.
He's as bad as the rest. I'm happier with what we got now by miles.
Fine, but what I'm saying is we've gone from feeling like that was a real strength to that being like the clear and obvious weakness by some distance.
Yeah, but I feel like it was bad then. George Ray was part of the problem. When we were shipping a lot of goals.
Yeah, so
then Stubbs and Diabate came in,
Yes.
saw him off. Then the defence got good for a while, got us promoted.
Yes.
And now for some, you can draw an obvious thing here, can't you? It's just we haven't got Sam Stubbs.
Sam Stubbs is a big loss, obviously.
And
Diabate hasn't been around.
But I don't think we need to. I mean, Czech's been really good for us, Yeah. And fair enough, that's mostly been in League Two, so we don't really know about League One yet. But it should translate. It's not a huge difference.
That wasn't a League One problem. Like, the finish was really good.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's not. Yeah. But he was still on the pitch for those other goals as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's not other than that, he didn't put a foot wrong.
No,
he's still part of that defence.
Like we said earlier, like we said before we were recording, we're not being beaten by Ipswich is different, but most of these games, it's not been like, oh, no one could have kept that out, or that's excellent play, or he's clearly a stronger player. It's
errors.
It's errors.
Lots of errors as well.
And all over the pitch, to be honest. I don't think Blackman covered himself in any glory on Saturday.
Blackman?
Yeah.
See that triple save? He kept us in the game.
But he shouldn't have been conceding that first one, and he shouldn't have been conceding that fourth one,
Yeah, but that's not his. They should get rid of it. It should never get to the point where he should be having to save that.
Maybe.
Get it away.
I know, but still, 2 long-distance efforts and you're beaten at your near post. It's not great, is it?
Yeah, maybe. I thought, on the whole, I think he's the least of our worries.
Well, that's probably
He's
true.
actually playing quite well.
Yeah. I mean, he does make a number of saves every game. Like, that's absolutely true. But it's all over the pitch, like losing the ball.
Yeah, this is why I don't know. This is why I worry about the kind of the mentality. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that we've lost a lot. We've lost our early momentum.
Well, yeah.
And we need to kind of. We nearly kind of rode out that difficult October by with maybe not as many points as we'd like, but but with some decent performances with a bit of kind of heart in there. We've still had that recently, but it's too many goals going in.
Yeah. I mean, this game could end up being a footnote, right? Second round of the League FA Cup. In the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
Obviously we're really disappointed we didn't get Arsenal or any kind of nice draw. But the win against Peterborough was, something that broke up that difficult run. The draw away at Derby was a really good, positive thing. Obviously, Argyle could have gone anyway. Ipswich looks really good. But if this kind of performance comes out till Christmas...
Yeah.
Against
Ipswich in isolation, you think, okay, that's fine. They're good. But at the same time, that's... you've got to be worried. You've got to be careful about what it does to your kind of morale, and what it does to your kind of. You have just lost, and you have conceded a load of goals.
Yeah.
So
if we go away to Oxford on New Year's Day and we beat them 2-0, I think fine. And especially if we can get some results against, Wednesday and Morecambe this Friday and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You think fine, but you're absolutely right. We're still 6 weeks away from the transfer window. We're not going to get some brilliant centre back.
No.
We might get an improvement, but...
So a bit more about the game. So Josh Key up front.
Yeah.
That first bit. Stano did come on at half time, and then we shifted things back around. Key went back into the fence and contributed his own at that end. But he had a couple of chances at the back post. I think, again, it's a bit of a strange move, but then, he wanted to rest Stansfield, and he obviously wanted to play 3 up top.
Wants to play that system, doesn't he?
But I don't think it particularly worked. Although there was these couple of chances. If one goes in for Key, he's not the best finisher. But he has got himself into that position. I don't know. Obviously, we're a bit light on forwards as well. If someone needs resting and you want to play 3 up front, then Harry Smith fellow, he's gone, hasn't he?
He would be an obvious.
Sonny Cox is someone who doesn't look like if a right back's getting in up front instead of you, it's not looking good. Not looking
Slightly
great.
Curious, isn't it, for Cox not to?
Yeah, although maybe he's not. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know.
Because Key's a right curveball.
Yeah. I don't know. We have seen Key play up front on rare occasions.
And we've seen him score headers.
And he gets forward a lot, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? So it does make a degree of sense, but I don't think it's an experiment that worked particularly well. I mean, maybe if he keeps going with it, maybe that could be a thing. But and then Stansfield injured himself, right? He hurt his shoulder.
So we're told. So
I don't know how bad that is,
No.
but apparently it's a shoulder injury.
So it's whether then, if he's out for a few weeks, whether Coldwell reverts to Nombe Brown, Jay comes in. I mean, I don't think that works, to be honest.
Well, you don't need to have Jay coming in. You can just play 3 in the middle with Dieng, Collins, or that's the other. We've played that plenty. Do you mean? And the fact, he dropped Giovanni and Nombe in order to play that system multiple times before this. So surely that's a possibility. And when we're losing, when we're shipping so many goals, I don't know. Is it better to kind of maybe shore up, have an extra man in the middle, like?
Well, it's worked well sometimes, as in it looks like it works, but then we still concede. I'm thinking about Argyle, so we ended up conceding 4, didn't we? But maybe we were pushing by then.
Well, I don't know. It depends who you're playing, doesn't it? It does give you these options of Collins getting forward or Dieng being able to get forward and get into the box and stuff. But
Dieng's a very useful player to arrive in the box, isn't he? As we know, particularly from last season.
Well, that's kind of what he's for.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a huge amount else, really, but he hasn't actually been doing that much this season. I mean, he's got a couple of goals, hasn't he? It's worth. I'm not saying abandon that plan, but
I mean, to be wildly controversial, we always have to ask whether the system should have remained Nombe Brown or Stansfield and one of them two, and whether that would have been a rotational kind of thing that we might... Because, very quickly, Taylor had done it before, and then Coldwell...
shifted into that 3 to fit them all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's worked on occasion, hasn't it? So, I mean,
on occasion.
I don't know. I think probably, personally, I'd feel safer having an extra man in midfield, especially as it didn't necessarily seem to hinder our goal scoring. Do you know what I mean? I think we were scoring enough goals before that,
Yeah.
And if anything, I think you get more out of Brown that way because he's not kind of in a bit position where he's kind of got to kind of drift out wide. He's much better kind of playing off Nombe in the middle.
I agree.
Maybe that's just what happens now if Stansfield is kind of having to be rested. It's a shame, but potentially that could be solve a kind of bit of a headache short term.
Yep. And then Colwell, I mean, he said in his interview, kind of in very straight terms, like the defence is a problem, and he's taking responsibility for that. But there's either going to need to be, I mean, it's stupid to say, isn't it? We can't just say, like, get back to the training field and try harder. They didn't mean to do that stuff, but
no, but in a way, it is that, isn't it? It is just about drilling. And that's a way that it could improve. I mean, like, you've got to defend as well as a team. It's got to be everyone doing it. I'm not like as much as like shifting a bit one personnel around or something. You know, if say Stubbs, some fantasy world did come back in, that probably would work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if that's not the case, then I think the only solution is to do that. It's just get on the training pitch, just drill, and just do the. We're not doing the basics.
Well, that's absolutely right, and it feels like often it's kind of almost like body shape. So especially when it was like ricocheting around, you're like, why is that player trying to play that? I mean, you're right. Partly it's playing at the back.
Well, and the more you drill, the less decisions you have to give them to make.
Yeah.
Do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, Nombe. If you start the game with those three at the back and they're minded, like you've got your two wing backs, and if there's a ball to either of them, depending on which way you're facing, you make it. But if there's not, off it goes. We know that Nombe and Brown and Stansfield, but particularly Nombe, will chase anything, is good at positionally seeing where to be.
Well, that's the thing. We do have a kind of natural out ball if Nombe's playing. That is kind of his, I mean, it's not perfect tactic. We're not going to start just
no, of course not.
You know, the pumping it long kind of thing that we do occasionally do and did a lot more in the past. But when you're in trouble, it's not necessarily a total case of just like, well, we're just kind of giving it back to them, because it's possible that Nombe might be able to run onto it, you know, or do something with the ball up that other end. And ultimately, short term, we've just got to stop getting the ball in the net. So it might just have to be the case for a bit.
You feel like when you watch that first goal, and I don't want to just isolate that because they're all at fault, but Czech's shaped to play the ball to the winger, and then there's obviously not an option, so they do a lot of kind of passing between the centre backs, don't they? And actually, often that's where disaster happens.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the way a lot of it's. If you watch a lot of football at the World Cup recently, you have seen a lot of that. You know? Like a lot of pressing that then doesn't involve pressing the centre back. So what you see is a lot of passing it backwards across the pitch between the centre backs. But they're usually fine at that. I don't have that. Like that's like kind of Czech's error there. It's just he hasn't played, and those things happen. You know, and like they're actually fine at kind of, you know, moving the ball from one side of the pitch to the other. You know, it's more when balls come into the box, dangerous balls into the box, that we're not able to get rid of it. That's where I think the problem lies, not necessarily in like them when they're in possession.
I just feel like there's a whole overwhelming problem of, you're right, like balls coming in, but the balls are coming in because they're given away in midfield very readily, and we're not shaping up quick enough. You know, I think there's a kind of malaise of we lose it really quickly in our own half and back it comes, you know, and the two things I think go hand in hand sometimes. But you're right, he's rusty, and obviously he's been brilliant for us at various points, so hopefully a few more games under his belt, and he can get somewhere.
Yeah.
The wider problem is the players that have been playing the whole time still can't seem to work out how to get rid of it.
What do you think? So we're not far off the January transfer window.
No.
What's the situation here? Getting some people in.
Well, it concerns me. I don't know. Caldwell's obviously been told he can do that.
Yeah. There's a few things, isn't there? One, we've got some players who are soon to be out of contract.
Yes.
We're going to try and get them to
Yes.
In which case, that's going to take some cash.
Yeah.
there's several. Obviously, we would like that to be the case for Giovanni, people like that.
Yeah.
Archie Collins.
Yeah.
2.
Or get compensation.
Yeah. 2. What positions do we need to bring in?
Yeah. So it feels like.
I'm not sure I'm numbering these points. To be honest.
Well, it feels like without Smith and with Jay not fitting in with what's being asked of him, we need an option that comes off the bench.
Yeah.
Like
What we need is a kind of like tall Harry Smith kind of type player.
Yeah, I mean, he looked really. We hardly saw
Nothing you
anything
can
of
do
him.
about that, is there?
There's nothing we can
but
do. It's
we
a real
do
shame.
need. We just need another one of him.
My concern is we get Zanzala.
Yeah, I mean, not him, but yeah,
No, but
I know what you mean.
Like,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
quite a difference.
I know it's risky, and also you're getting someone in who's not going to start.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be that good.
No.
But I do think probably that's something we should get.
I mean, that's the benefit of League One, isn't it? We can go out and get hopefully a League Two person and sell it to them like League One football, you know.
Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Championship loanee might be the thing that's possible.
What else do we need? Do we need a...
Well, if Sam Stubbs isn't coming back, and who knows?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, who knows? But if he doesn't come back, we need a...
I thought he was a mudder.
Yeah, well, we got the mudder, and he's...
Yeah.
Somewhere other.
Well, he's not, yeah.
He's not around.
And... Yeah.
Is anyone going? Is anyone being snapped up in this January window?
I wouldn't have thought so.
There's no obvious.
Exit-wise, we haven't seen Raheem Harper play 1 minute yet under Gary Caldwell.
No.
So maybe he goes back.
He's from Ipswich, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yep. And then we've never really solved the goalkeeper problem, so do we stick with Harry Lee and hope that Blackman makes it through?
Yeah, although Andrew Soden
Oh, yeah, he played on the bench.
Well, he's on the bench on Saturday because Harry Lee's cup tied, having played...
Of course, for
FA Cup
Dorchester.
for someone else, yeah.
Yeah,
was it?
Dorchester or... whoever.
Bath or someone.
Yeah. So there's that question.
Yeah.
But maybe the money's better spent.
Well, it's a bit of a kind of risk, isn't it?
It's a bit of a risk.
You know, Harry Lee looks
fine.
very good, doesn't
Yeah.
he? So maybe that's a risk worth taking if it means you can get somewhere else. And do we need a left-back option? Because at the minute it's Jack Sparks or a right footer.
Yeah.
So, you know, do we need cover in that position? I would suggest we probably do.
I'd hope that Taggy's got his checkbook ready. And I'll tell you why, Dan. Because the attendances have been so good.
That's true. Yeah.
Not to mention the Alfie Pond money.
And they can't sell enough pints, as previously mentioned.
Indeed.
All that pint money got to go somewhere.
Well, it's gone in the pint pot, presumably, but
Yeah, but, you know.
now you want to empty that out. Smash that tankard. So you'd hope that we can do something.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like are the
Bad
players...
time to do business, isn't it, as they say?
Who's out of contract, do we think? Brown, Collins,
Giovanni,
King,
Collins. Don't know about the others.
Jay?
Yeah, maybe.
Because Jay's worth some money. He's just not worth anything to us. Sorry, Matt. That sounds awful. I don't mean that.
Is he worth... How much money is he worth?
He's worth 100,000, isn't he? If Nombe's worth 100,000...
But he's been kind of... I mean, Matt Jay's been a bit bad for coming up 2 years.
If you were...
Is it 2 years?
Yeah. If you were a ball-playing team in League Two, Wrexham come up...
Yeah.
They might think he's a player worth having.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they'll know the numbers on that, won't they? They'll work it out. Because obviously, if you can't sell him and you've signed him up for a longer contract and you're not playing him, that doesn't make sense either.
It does not.
Giovanni, he is worth money. You just don't think he'll sign a contract and he'll go somewhere good.
Got a very strong feeling that this is just it for Giovanni Brown, that he's just going at the end of the season.
I mean, we got him for free, so whatever. Archie Collins, however,
I don't begrudge anybody for leaving.
No,
by
of
the
course
way.
not.
Like absolutely not, and not Giovanni either. So you know.
no, of course not. But the business mind has to think. Yeah, especially Archie Collins. We've invested 15 years worth of
Him, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Jay as well. That's why I'm saying that with Jay. But then it's run his course, hasn't it? I suppose maybe. Well, okay. Well, we'll think about more. We'll obviously think more about transfers as that window approaches, but we'll think about the games coming up in a second. Welcome back to the Big Bang Theory podcast. Remember, you can get in touch with us in all the normal ways at Big Bang Pod on Twitter, Big Bang Theory Podcast on Facebook, and we're bigbangpod@gmail.com as well. So it's a slightly funny week this week. Obviously, all the World Cup's going on as well. So maybe you won't be 100% Exeter City all the time, but Friday night, City go away to Morecambe.
Yes.
Because Morecambe, I believe, are worried about the potential England clash, 3 p.m.
Yeah, so it seems like about half of the League Two games are taking place on the Friday night, but the other two are on the Saturday. So if England do play then,
Yeah,
that's if they finish second in the group, isn't it?
is it?
Then all those League One games will clash with that.
Yeah. So actually, you're right. Most are on the Friday. Long old way to go on a Friday night.
Yes.
So hats off to anyone who does go. Morecambe only get a couple of thousand home supporters anyway, don't they? So I obviously understand why they'd want to move it.
Yeah.
They haven't won in how many?
They haven't won the last 5.
So this could be a lovely morale booster.
Yeah, we need a positive result here.
Need a positive result.
At absolute worst, we need a 0-0 draw.
I don't think that's good enough, but I think that's right. We need a clean sheet as the big requirement. Morecambe are in the bottom 4. They're not looking good.
They're second bottom.
They're not obviously they're not a wealthy team. They've got no superstars. They've got Kieran Phillips.
They do have Kieran Phillips,
formerly of Exeter City as a loanee.
Yeah, he's doing quite well for them, I think. I think he scored 4 goals. I spoke to a guy on a Morecambe podcast, and he said Kieran Phillips is keeping out their top goal scorer from last season at the moment.
Okay.
Obviously, he didn't do a huge amount for us, but did score a couple of very important goals. He looked a bit raw, didn't he, when he was playing for us, I thought.
I was kind of surprised
but
to
kind
be
of
on the pitch.
Strong and quick, power,
Okay.
We need to be wary of him. At least it's someone we are aware of.
We'll recognise him when he comes on the pitch.
Yeah, us, but also our own defenders.
Well, yeah, I literally mean them as well, yeah. So you can watch it on iFollow if you're not going.
Yes.
A 3-0 would be highly satisfactory. To be honest, I think a 1-0 actually.
I would love it if we won 1-0.
1-0.
Absolutely.
When was the last time we won 1-0? I can't remember. That would be great. Colwell obviously needs to get his head round what the problems are, how he's going to deal with the problems, how he can change the game with substitutions. He looked quite good for that at the start. Some games have kind of been lost before he can do that, but I'd like to see him start to, make his imprint on the team and the squad and the club and all that stuff. Like,
I think so.
He comes across really well. I really like him.
I think what I'd like to see is him to just, as mad as it sounds, I think it would be good to not have any changes in that defensive. Apart from Key going back in it,
yeah,
but not into the centre back if possible.
Yeah.
If it's Sweeney, Diabate, Hartridge,
yeah,
I think we got to stick with that. It makes no sense chucking in Grounds now or moving Dieng. Well, probably not moving Dieng back. I just don't feel like that.
No.
Maybe he does that and it works brilliantly, and that's our new centre-back 3 going forward. But personally, I think you need to, pick them back up, and they are capable of clean sheets.
And we'd expect those 3 to improve, given game time together.
Yeah.
We'd expect. Sweeney and Hartridge. Sweeney's been.
Well, that's coincided
excellent.
that when Cech came in before he got injured and Stubbs came back.
Yeah.
That was formidable back 3
Yeah.
for us last season.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's in League 2, bit different. Time makes fools of us all, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you're right. I'd expect to see. I'd expect him to have worked out what to do, either without Stansfield or. Without Stansfield and change the system, or with someone different instead of Stansfield.
Yeah, we don't even know if Stansfield's going to be fit for this one.
So what do we have we heard any more about it? Just hurt his shoulder.
I haven't heard anything, but I haven't checked. But
Okay.
I guess there'll be a kind of another interview, won't there? When do they do that? That'll be on Thursday, will it?
It might be Wednesday, mightn't it? Because of the being a Friday game.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Because they'll be going up early.
Keep an eye out on that.
Would
YouTube.com.
they go up Would they go up Friday morning?
Probably.
No.
How far is it?
Flipping miles. It's just across from Barrow, isn't it? But there's a bit of water in between
The shrimps.
for shrimps and nuclear submarines.
Yeah. Coexisting beautifully in the west of England.
Yeah.
Shrimps and nuclear submarines.
Yeah. Lucky devils. Then it's busy again, isn't it? So
What's the difference between a shrimp and a prawn?
don't know. I don't know. They're different things, aren't they?
Are they completely different
Well,
things?
they're in the same category. Crustacean.
Are prawns bigger?
That would make sense. But is that just, from years of me hearing big men call little men shrimps? You little shrimp! That kind of thing. You never hear that
Yeah.
anymore.
You don't. They look identical. These two things.
Okay,
They look identical.
maybe they're the same. I mean, Google it.
In North America, I think they're kind of just like. I think it's the same thing.
Is it?
Hang on,
Why aren't they
maybe
called?
not. Hang on.
Why aren't they called the prawn stars then?
Well, exactly. They're often used interchangeably and understandably. Shrimps and prawns have a lot in common. They're both decapod crustaceans.
Ooh,
Do you know what that means?
10 pods,
10 legs.
10 legs.
But also they have exoskeletons.
Hey, all the best people do.
Shrimps are not. Shrimps are part of the suborder. Blah, blah. Okay, they're different suborders. They're not even the same animal.
Well, yeah, okay.
Do you want to know any more about these?
I mean, I'm enjoying it. A decapod, yeah. Give me one more fact.
Different types of gills.
Matt or David. Okay, thank you for your information.
Yeah, I could give you more, but it's boring, I think. But they do look the same.
You think? Okay.
It's mad, isn't it? I suppose it's not that mad because humans look a bit like chimpanzees, don't they?
Speak for yourself.
But they do. I mean, like in a way,
Yeah. You
got
do.
a lot of the same features.
Yeah.
A shrimp could be sitting there going like, "Wow, it looks the same to me. You've got 2 arms, 2 eyes, mouth,
Legs,
legs. Yeah,
bit of hair.
yeah,
Their skeletons are on the inside, says the shrimp.
yeah."
Yuck, says the prawn.
That's horrible, isn't it? Having a skeleton on the inside. I prefer mine, on the outer.
Yes.
On
You know
the
where you are
exo.
with an external skeleton.
Yeah, I'd rather we had external skeletons, to be honest.
I mean, it makes sense in that it protects your insides more.
yeah,
It depends if you think of your skin as your coat or something worth protecting.
I suppose it does protect, doesn't it?
It does,
In a way.
Well, in lots of ways.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be difficult, wouldn't it? Because if everyone was just skeletons, it would all look the same.
No. Some would be big skeletons, some would be small skeletons.
Well, height would be the only real differentiating factor.
Eye colour shining through your skull.
Eye colour.
And other things that we might not know.
Well, different muscle mass, I suppose, depending on what, different
Yeah.
muscle mass. We all look roughly the same.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. So anyway, City are off to the Shrimps to play at the Mazuma Stadium, which I think is like when you sell your mobile phone back to them, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Can you take it along to the stadium and do that there and then on match day?
They're probably pleased to have extra attendees, so yeah, they encourage it. And of course, you know who the manager is, Dan, don't you?
Someone comes to sell a phone. You don't fancy watching a match while you're here, do you?
We can have your you can have your money for your iPhone after the game.
We've got loads of spare seats. Yeah.
You know who manages them, don't you? The biggest shrimp of them all. You little shrimp, Derek Adams.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Him again.
him again. Of course, he's taken the exoskeleton.
What? He's gone there after. He's left Bradford to go there, has he?
Yeah,
That
Mark
must,
Hughes,
that
isn't it?
must have passed
He's
me
taken
by.
the exoskeleton to the nth degree and wears a coat that looks like an external skeleton, if you recall.
Yeah. It was white, same colour as Bones.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
kind of ribbed, like ribs.
Yeah.
So is Adams, our old pal. So presumably he'll be saying to Morecambe, oh, they haven't got ambition like us. Good luck with that one, Derek. Convincing no
Yeah, a
one.
bit harder to sell that, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
He didn't like
lol.
Matt Taylor, did he? Was that him?
Didn't like Matt Taylor, didn't like Exeter City.
I wonder if what he thinks of Gary Caldwell.
Gary will go up to him and go like, I can't say this in a Scottish accent, so I can't.
I'd love to see him chin him.
Two Scotsmen brawling on the
yeah,
side.
of course.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Raging. Isn't Derek from the north of Scotland?
I think Gary Caldwell's a bit of a kind of like, I think
Smiling assassin.
Yeah. I think he's a very mild-mannered guy, but if you got on the wrong side of him, I think...
If you said his missus looked like a tart...
He's hard as nails.
You'd knock your block
By the
off.
way, the other day,
Here, Gary, your missus looks like a tart.
Is that Derek Adams talking?
I guess so, yeah.
I had a brief encounter with Gary Caldwell.
Tell me more. That's good. Not on the football.
No, just about in town.
Oh.
I was at work.
Yeah.
And he walked past my work, and with his mate, David.
Oh, the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach David.
Coach David. Yeah.
I have to call him that because I can't remember his name. And I said hello to him. I just went, Gary, and he went, how you doing? And then I sort of panicked a bit, and as he was walking away, I sort of went like, good to have you here. I thought something like that. And then I was like, why did I say that?
Started so
I could have
well.
just left it there.
What did Coach David say?
He didn't say anything because I'd forgotten his name at that point, so I didn't want to go. If I'd remembered, I'd have gone, Gary, Dave, good to have you.
Oh, well, at least you tried to make him feel welcome.
Yeah. Well,
No,
I
good.
think he appreciated it.
Yeah, very
He had
good.
a nice jumper on.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Thanks for listening, everyone. So it's Morecambe, and then don't forget, this is just my reminder to you, get your tickets for Sheffield Wednesday and Portsmouth ASAP.
They might have already gone, haven't they?
Well, I bought my Chef Wen one this morning.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm getting a Portsmouth ticket for my Christmas present, so I had to remind someone who's getting me that.
Well, that might be sold out already, son.
No, it turns out she's already done it.
Oh,
It's my mother-in-law, in case you're wondering, everyone.
right. Fair dues. I
I don't usually hassle my mother-in-law for presents, but that's what she always gets me.
I think I've got both. I think I've already got both them.
Good. Well, if you haven't, listeners, you might need to cajole your mother-in-law.
Also, if you're listening, Exeter City ticketing office, can
Yeah.
you call me back, please?
Oh.
I submitted the absolute tin pot system of buying a half-season ticket, which is something I'm attempting to do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you my money,
Yeah.
and you are supposed to call me about it, but you haven't.
Oh, right.
Like, you should be ringing me right now while I'm on air. And yet,
No response.
so I'll just have to chase it up. You can't go into the shop and do it.
Can't you?
You can't do it in person. No, apparently not. You
Oh.
can't do it via their ticketing system.
Mm.
You have to send them an email, and then they send you back this form, and you fill in the form, and it says, here's my phone number, give me a ring. And then they don't give you a ring.
How bizarre. What a strange system.
Yeah. I mean, it's never been a flawless system, has it? But
Have
it's
you
been
tried
working
ringing your
fairly
mother-in-law?
well. I ain't got one.
Ah. Ring mine.
Anyway, if you're listening, ticket folk, get on the blower.
Get on the
Trying
blower.
to give you my money.
Yeah. If any of you would like to give us your money, you can email us in all the normal ways. But if not, we'll see you on the iFollow on Friday, and we'll be back next week, won't we?
Yeah.
At normal time, because it's normal week after that, isn't it?
Unless there's some weird World Cup stuff happening, but I think it's normal.
I think it's normal. Thanks for listening, everyone. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.